This is the Give and Go FC Match Day review. 2 days late this time, but the first ever match review on the Give and Go FC YouTube channel. So for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. This channel will be talking about football and soccer or wherever you guys want to talk about it. But let's begin. This is my bunk. This is Paris. And I had the fortune of having tickets to go see the French national team take on Iceland on Tuesday in their World Cup qualification match day 2 showdown. Everybody knows the result by now. It ended 2-1 for the home side. And before we get into it, I just want to have a special mention for Iceland, who broke onto the international scene at the Euro 2016 in France. I believe it was like 10% of their population came to support them, and they got really famous for that. Ow, ow, ow. And they had famous victory over England. I believe in the group stages they were also phenomenal. I think I didn't research this, but I think they beat like Hungary or something like that, or is it Austria? One of the two. And then they lost to France. I believe that match ended 5-1 or 5-2. I remember Giroud scoring a chip. But Iceland announced themselves onto the international stage, in my experience at least, in 2016. So seeing them back in France, where I guess their whole notoriety started, was special. And they don't have the same star players like they did in that campaign, like Birkir Bjarnason, Gudmundsson, and even Sigurdsson and all that stuff. But they had a very strong unit, a compact unit, and they worked as a team. Two players that were brothers, the sons of Eidur Gudjohnsen, who was that top goal scorer for Chelsea under Jose Mourinho one season, and also played at Barcelona. So a little bit of a legend, and crazy for him to have two kids play on the international team. And they were spearheaded by captain Hakan Haraldsson, who I'm familiar with. He plays at Lille, so I've seen him play quite a bit. I believe he scored a really interesting goal. Was it in the Champions League last year? I think it was. He's great, and the team was solid and really fast, and they posed problems to France. But before I want to get into the match, so that was just credit to Iceland. The atmosphere at the Parc des Princes. You know, usually French matches and the French national team play at the Stade de France, a little bit northern of Paris. The Parc des Princes, which is the home venue of Paris Saint-Germain for now, is usually dedicated to the club. So this was unusual. It's a special occasion in 2025 to see France playing games there, but there will be another one in October. And it wasn't full. The stadium wasn't full. The atmosphere was not crazy, although they did pull out all the bells and whistles. I'll attach that now. And there was fireworks and everything like that. But when the match started, they had trouble getting into the game. Iceland scored and opened the scoring after profiting of a mistake by Olise. It was one of Gudjonsson's kids who actually scored at the 21st minute. And France were under a little bit of pressure. And then the fans kind of got into it, started pushing. Of course, there wasn't as much of an atmosphere that you get for a Paris Saint-Germain game on a Champions League night, but they were started to wake up after that goal. Of course, Didier Deschamps was a little bit under pressure, given that he injured Désiré Doué, or is accused of injuring Désiré Doué and Ousmane Dembélé, two Paris Saint-Germain players. Dembélé out for several weeks. He's going to miss the clash against Barcelona because of that. And so Deschamps was under some pressure, and the players, they were struggling to kind of find their gel. I mean, Marcus Thuram was pushing. He got the start over Dembélé, who was injured, and Barcola, Mbappé were in charge of the offensive animation, but it wasn't easy until Marcus Thuram, who I'll get into him later, wins the penalty for the team. Captain Kylian Mbappé, who looked more interested in the French national team as much as I have seen him, you know, reminiscent of the World Cup in 2022, and you know, he kind of didn't have the greatest showing at the Euro a couple years ago. But today, or that day at least, he looked really involved. Doesn't have that same electric speed that he had, but he's still fast, still very fast, still technically very good, and he's developed this leadership role that I've already spoken about on my TikTok channel and Instagram, or my TikTok channel. But now let's start with and so as the game progressed, France drew. They started to look like they were really gelling, and then thanks to magic of Aurélien Tchouaméni, He found Mbappé in the space. He passes it to Barcola, and he just laid it into an open net. That would be Barcola's last contribution to the match. He would be substituted off for Kingsley Coman, and who also had a great impact. Seeing him back from Saudi Arabia is interesting. But and then France almost conceded late in the match. They had to be bailed out by a video assistant referee. Of course, Tchouaméni got a red card, so on, so on. So the stories. From the back, I think Jules Koundé and Théo Hernandez are no longer the offensive threats that they once were for the French national team, unfortunately. Jules Koundé, Théo Hernandez, no longer that offensive threat. Koundé had an incredible Euro in Germany. He was like one of the best players for France, and he really cemented his spot. Théo also had a really good World Cup, but I'm not sure that they were able to be the offensive vectors that Deschamps needs or that the French national team could have enjoyed. Upamecano and Konaté, so strong. I mean, so fast. They understand each other very well. They were teammates in Germany at Leipzig once upon a time ago. No longer now, but that chemistry, you feel it. And just physically speaking, they're so good, and technically as well. Like the way they pass, it's all excellent. And I have no faith. And it would be interesting to see how Saliba will maybe get a chance to break in. You know, William Saliba, many consider him to be one of the best center backs in the Premier League, maybe the world. So many consider for William Saliba to be one of the best center backs in the Premier League, maybe the world. Does he have a space on this team? Surely. Will it be a defense with 3 center backs? To be seen. Also, who caught my eye from very close, Michael Olise. He is not a nice guy. Not a nice guy. Michael Olise, when you're against him, he makes your life very difficult, and he does not care about you and your feelings. He is mean, and he will dribble you. He will provoke you. He will make sure the ref knows about you when you're fouling him. Even though he made the mistake, he had the mental toughness to come back and even almost assisted Marcus Thuram, and has shown that he's a threat on the set pieces as well. I love him. I think he's a strong asset for the French national team, and there's more to come. There's more to come from the Bayern Munich player there. Barcola and Mbappé, you know, they're both very fast. I mean, I think Barcola is like the emperor of the assist, and also was really rewarded with a goal this time for his efforts for the French national team at the senior level. It's good to see him get a goal and recognition, and an important one. Manu Koné, modern day Italian gladiator, unbelievable how he never gives up on a challenge. He'll tackle to the end. He'll play the ball into the feet of his teammates. Maybe lacks a little bit of that offensive pedigree, but he's working on it. You can see he's improving. Still a young player, and his potential is high. Next to Tchouaméni, they formed a great partnership. When he came off, what was crazy was when Adrien Rabiot was introduced, booed by almost the entire stadium. Là, il vient de perdre un jeu, mais ouais, là, il gagne. Obviously, because he made the transfer from Juventus to Marseille when he had other options, but he decided to come back to France and chose to sign for the arch rivals of his team that he played for in France, Paris Saint-Germain. But they booed the living life out of him. And he stayed really calm. And it was impressive to see, you know, not everybody, I think, would be able to perform under conditions like that. But already for Deschamps to introduce him, I was surprised. But did well, very well. And I'll finish by maybe the least positive is Marcus Thuram, who still won a penalty, but it's my dad who says this. 30 games for the French national team without a goal. That is pretty, I mean, how do you justify that when there's weapons on the French national team like Ryan Cherki, Ekitike, who came on for 60 seconds, but even Mateta. There's some players that maybe are getting overlooked, and I wonder how long Marcus Thuram could stay on the lineup. I mean, I don't doubt under Deschamps he'll be taken out, but 30 games without a goal is hard to defend, really hard to defend. Even though he didn't play poorly against Iceland, won a penalty, you know, did some good stuff. He was trying. He was on the left, but no goals, man. I mean, that is what you are there for. in the end. And yeah, I guess we're missing out on that. What's next for the French national team? They come back in October to the Parc des Princes. They're going to play against Azerbaijan, if I'm not mistaken. And there'll be a lot of anticipation to see if they can secure their qualification with a win and another draw. And that will be it. They will be at the World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Will they be favorites to win the whole thing? I think Spain, I think Argentina are maybe like above them. Definitely. I think Germany has fallen down a little bit on that list of teams that could have been favorites to win the whole thing. England, they're in the fold, but France are still a heavyweight, and they if everybody's healthy, if Mbappé has a good season as the real number 9 for Real Madrid, although he wears the number 10, anything could be possible for Deschamps' final World Cup, which apparently a lot of people hope, given that he was booed by a lot of the stadium. And then after the World Cup, could it be Zidane to take over? That's not that far from now. Lots more questions for the French national team, but overall, very enjoyable experience at the stadium. France won. It was a gritty win, but in the end, 3 points against a strong Iceland side who have very good memories of playing in France. I mean, that's kind of where it started. And yeah, that's the review from the Bunk. Like and subscribe. Comment if you want to discuss about soccer. I will answer every single comment. And more match day reviews and more soccer content to come on this YouTube channel from Paris.